Welcome to Spiritual Grit, the podcast where we talk real talk about spirituality through the lens of activism and social justice. What happens when activism and spiritual practices collide? What sparks of change call for the grit we need to create meaningful strides in social justice? I'm your host, Leslie Ann Hobayan, poet, priestess, activist, professor, hip-hop dancer, and badass mama. Join me as we dive in to learn more about our deepest selves so that we can be better ancestors to create a stellar world for our descendants. Grab your dancing shoes and let's get groovy with the grit right now. Hello, loves. Welcome to another episode of Spiritual Grit. How are you on this beautiful day? I hope wherever you are, you're feeling groovy in your neighborhood. Today, it's February. I am so glad. I don't know about y'all, but January felt like 537 years. Just saying. All right, so for today's episode, I have pulled a card from the Lightseers Tarot deck. And today, what has come forward is the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands. Now, if you are familiar with the suits in the minor arcana, the suit of Wands deals with inspiration, creativity, and passion. Okay, and it's associated with the element of fire, I think, right? Yes, fire. Think passion, fire, yes. This is why we got the fire right here on the drum. Okay, so we have charisma, passion, spontaneity, pursuing your dreams, fast energy, enthusiasm, courage, taking inspired action, the pursuit of adventure. Love that. Okay, so what have you been dreaming about? I'm going to hold the card up so you all can see it still. The Knight of Wands gallops in and out of your reading with messages of adventure, of impulsivity, and of bravely pursuing the things that inspire you the most. If you want to take that leap, friends, now is the time to do it. The Knight of Wands is here. Okay, that passion project you've been tinkering with, that drum circle you've always wanted to join. Allow spontaneity into your choices and gift yourself the freedom to shift your reality to match your desires. Let me read that again. The freedom to shift your reality to match your desires. So I want to pause here for a second. Our reality is a reflection of our inner world, not the other way around. Okay, so whatever's happening inside of us, in our subconscious, in the worlds that we create in our dream spaces, that is what is our reality. That's being reflected out into the external world. So we have the power to shift the reality to match our dreams within. Okay, that's just a reminder. It's okay to hold on a second. It's very shadowy over here. It's okay to crave new things and to run with the wind when you are feeling charged up about an idea. Go with it. Are you charged up about an idea? Allow this high-spirited energy to rush in and incite a wildfire of positive momentum. In shadow, this card counsels against reckless impulsivity and heated outbursts. Fortunately, it didn't come that way, so we don't have to think about the shadow side for this card today. You don't want all that pent-up creative energy to spontaneously combust. So fan the flames and leave some energy for the long haul. Make your passion work for you, not the other way around, while whooshing, literally it says that, whooshing yourself toward success. Okay? The mantra that comes with this card is, in the pursuit of the imagined, I manifest this fire with the infectious feelings of inspiration. I love that so much. So here is what I am hearing from this card is that, yes, all the structures, all the oppressive structures are crumbling. Empire is crumbling. Everything that we know, the systems within which we have been operating are falling apart. And so it is up to us to create, to imagine and create new systems that are kinder, that are more humane, that encourage communities of care and kindness and mutual aid, right? How do we create the things that have not been created before? We use our imagination. Remember that? Yeah, capitalism sometimes tries to erase that from us, but as evidenced by the bazillion sequels and remakes in Hollywood, I know there are creative people out there. Hollywood just doesn't want to hire them. So, what you do is you make your own movie and you distribute it yourself and you let other people learn about it in the ways that we find best, which is word of mouth, right? So I digress. You got a great idea, go with it. This card is saying, do the thing. Now's the time. Don't wait. You got all the wisdom within you that has accumulated over these lifetimes that you know how to do the thing that you have been dreaming about doing. And what I believe is that our dreams were put there by source, by our spirit soul selves before we incarnated here to remember our soul's purpose, to guide us towards liberation, towards expansion, towards evolution. And so when we have a dream, when we have a heart's desire, that is by design. It is something that helps propel us forward towards our life's purpose, our calling. So if you've got a dream that you're like, I don't know if I have enough expertise yet, I don't know if I'm the person to do it, throw those thoughts out the window and just say, hey, I'm going to try it. I don't have to be an expert. I'm just going to create it and try it and see what happens. And if nothing happens, at least now I know. Or if some little thing happens and I see the results, then I can get closer to the dream that's within and making it manifest to reflect, change the reality that is outside myself. Got it? Got it. Okay, good. So that said, I just want to read the mantra again. In the pursuit of the imagined, I manifest this fire with the infectious feelings of inspiration. So that said, I want to talk a little bit about how we need to create new systems. And in previous episodes, I've been talking about tuning into the body, right? We need to be physically connected, present in our bodies to ground ourselves during the various upheavals that have been happening over the course of just the last 2 weeks, for example. But now that you're grounded and you've done a little bit of listening, deep listening to your inner self, now it is time for us to create. It is time for us to find our people, to connect with others, to connect with each other. I'm going to reach out and connect with you, and to imagine together how we can build a better world for us. And how do we do that? Baby steps, right? You tune into your body, you listen, and then you get pulled in a certain direction. And I'm going to tell you, monkey mind, the mind that lives within the capitalist system, says, ooh, I don't know if that's the right way to go. Ooh, does that make money? I don't know if it does or not. Maybe you shouldn't do it. What will people say? Are you good enough? Are you expert enough? Like that too, throw it out the window. Okay. So you're going to take this idea and you're going to just say, all right, what's the first step? How can I start to create the thing that I so want to manifest? Manifest just means to create, right? To create in the physical three-dimensional world. So, how do I create the thing that's here, the dream that's here and here? How do I create that? Start with I'm going to talk to some people. I'm going to sketch out what that plan looks like, what that dream looks like. I'm going to invite people to collaborate with me to help me out. So, let me give you an example. One day, I don't even know where this idea came from, probably from all the different things that I've been seeing and listening to and seeing other people's ideas, and it just kind of accumulated within me and sparked an idea within me that I'm like, oh, okay, let's just do that. So I knew that, or still know that my dream in here and in here is to offer healing for people. Healing is a word that carries many meanings. And what I mean by that is for people to tend to their wounds and to feel at ease, to feel closer to being at home in their bodies. Now, I'm like, how do I do that? You know, I have modalities. I have trained in various healing modalities, but how do I begin to offer any kind of healing to anybody? Yeah, sure, I can, open up my own office, I guess, my own shop, but that takes some capital that I don't have. Am I going to stop that? I mean, is that going to prevent me from offering my gifts to the world? No. I mean, if I had a capitalist hat on firmly on my head, then yeah, I would take myself out of the race before the race even started. Not that this is a race, but that's just the metaphor, right? So I am like, okay, what are some ways in which I can offer healing to people, or at least a healing space, a healing community? And suddenly I was like, oh, I'm going to start a Patreon page. I don't know anything about Patreon. I have been part of a couple of people's Patreon pages. And when Patreon was first created, it was to mimic sort of that. I don't want to call it a business model, but a business model of an artist having a benefactor, where an artist creates work and there is somebody who has money that funds them, that pays them to create work, that feeds them, that houses them, that kind of thing. And so that's in the past been called a patron, right? So you're going to be a patron for this artist. You're going to give them some money and sponsor them so that they can thrive without having to worry about the finances. Because when you try to create and you're under stress, financial stress, your nervous system is on alert, your sympathetic nervous system is activated, and there's no creativity flowing whatsoever. Creativity needs to flow when you are in a parasympathetic mode, in a rest and digest mode, so that you can soften. And then the subconscious can emerge because your creativity lives in your subconscious. So Patreon was invented, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Great platform. I didn't participate in it for whatever reason. I don't even know why. I don't know why. Now I see that has become a more popular platform for a lot of different creative people. And it's not just for folks to become patrons of the creative person. It actually has become a site for community building. And that is what I love about it. So I was like, hey, I want community. Let's build this platform. So I just started a Patreon page and literally just last week. So I don't have anybody on there yet, but I'm just letting you know for the first time. Dun, 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 an official announcement. And it's called Leslie Ann's Healing Archipelago. And what is going to happen there is that there's going to be some healing happening, but it's going to take the shape of different kinds of things. It's not just healing modalities. It could be writing workshops. It could be, somatic practices. It could be all kinds of things. The idea is to bring people together and create communities of care and kindness. So that is one of the small steps that I've taken towards this dream of a larger healing space, which then helps the community, which then sends out ripple effects into the collective, right? So, what about you? What about your dreams? What do you feel in your body needs to be created now? And it doesn't have to be justified as something that helps the collective. It could just be because it was on my heart. It was my heart's desire. My heart's desire said, hey, I want to do this thing or whatever it is. Um, because the more we can be our whole selves, the more we can listen to our soul's calling, the more we nourish the collective. Because if we are sitting here suffering quietly and trying to obey whatever the system is telling us to do, and as a result, shrinking our energy, dampening who we are being. The soul signature calling starts to diminish. The energy starts to get muted. And then what do you have left? Not much. And then what is the purpose of that? You were born in this time, on this timeline, on this planet, in this very moment for a reason. And it is your personal mission to fulfill that reason. Now, you might not know what that reason is, which is why it's important to go within, to do some meditation, some quiet breathing, some closing the eyes, and to just listen. What does the little voice inside of you say? What does your heart tell you? And when you can let yourself be led by the heart with best intentions, then you can start to hear what your life's calling is, what your life's purpose is. And I want to say, life's purpose sounds very big. It sounds very grand, like my life's purpose is to save the world. No, your life's purpose could be to be a mom to beautiful kids who will then become great participants and contributors of the world in whatever way and whatever gifts that they have. Maybe your purpose is to make really awesome cookies, you know? And our purpose isn't singular. Our purpose isn't like you got one mission and one mission only. It's not Star Trek where you're like, all right, we're going to go where no man has gone before and just keep going. It's not a one mission deal, right? Your purpose can be big like that. Like, hey, I'm going to go found an organization that helps homeless people find housing. Maybe that's your calling. I don't know, but your calling can also be something very small, something on the daily, like my calling and my purpose on, we'll say Friday, because I'm thinking about what happened on Friday, was to reach out to a friend of mine and say, hey, let's get coffee. Turns out that they really were feeling like they needed to talk to somebody because they were going through a rough patch. I didn't know that. But I thought of them and thought it'd be nice to see them. And we got together and it was what they needed. And for me, in that moment, on that Friday, that was my purpose. So purpose could be little p purpose, capital P purpose, but it comes down to listening to what's happening within, to listening to the messages that we are being given through the divine. Now, sometimes it's so noisy. The outside world is super noisy. So sometimes we need a little help, a little guidance. And you know what I use? These tarot cards. Um, Sometimes I use guided meditation, sometimes prayer, but whatever it is that you need, it's not wrong. It's just support. And so I invite you to take time this week to make it a daily practice, just 7 days in a row, just to see. Take about 10 minutes first thing in the morning, set your alarm 10 minutes a little early. I know it's hard when the daylight isn't right there with you, right when you wake up, but you can get a light therapy lamp because those are amazing. It's changing my life. I just got one a few weeks ago, totally changing my life for the better. I mean, amazing. And yes, so 10 minutes to just be still. Now, don't set your alarm and be like, okay, I'm doing my 10 minutes and you're lying down, you fall back asleep. That's called snooze. Okay. You need to sit up or physically get out of bed and sit on the floor. But put your hands on your heart, close your eyes, and take some deep breaths. Maybe don't close your eyes because you might go back to sleep. Soft gaze on the floor and ask the question, What does love ask of me today? How can I be of service to others today? What is my purpose or my calling for today? And then listen. Listen to what might come back. And then you do the same thing the next day for 7 days straight. Just 7 days. I'm not going to ask you to do more. Just want you to experiment with me. Do it for 7 days and see what happens. Do you hear a different answer every time? Do you hear the same answer every time? Do you actually do the thing that had answered you that day? And if so, what is the cumulative effect of that? Okay. Okay. All right, friends. That is your assignment for today, for this week. Okay. I'm in teacher mode today. All right. So I have The Gift by Hafiz, translated by Daniel Ladinsky. And today's poem that just randomly opened up is I Vote for You for God. When your eyes have found the strength to constantly speak to the world all that is most dear to your own life, when your hands, feet, and tongue can perform in that rare unison that comforts this longing earth with the knowledge, your soul has been groomed in his city of love. And when you can make others laugh with jokes that belittle no one, and your words always unite, Hafez does vote for you. Hafez will vote for you to be the minister of every country in this universe. Hafez does not vote for you, my dear. I vote for you to be God. Just want to sit with that for a moment. Okay. All right. Awesome. All right, friends. So I hope you have a beautiful week. Sit for 7 days, 10 minutes. Just listen. All right. And I will close the episode as I always do. The divine light in me bows to the divine light in you. Until next time, namaste. If you're feeling like fighting the good fight is bringing you down and hope is starting to fade, grab my free 7-day meditative challenge, Spark Joy in Chaos, by signing up for my newsletter, which will be more light to your inbox. Go to suryaguian.com/subscribe.